Hello, I'm Frank Stanisci of Candid Frank Live. Welcome to the Spanglish World Network on Zingo TV, channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app at the respective app stores for iOS and Android devices. While you download, make sure you rate and leave a comment. Both apps are absolutely free. Zingo TV is available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and also on all smart TVs 2016 forward. Now on Candid Frank Live, joining me as usual is Aaron William Freeland. Hello, Aaron. How you doing?
Good, Frank. How are you?
So yeah, you had a nice little birthday party for the better half. Did you make her content with the celebration?
Oh, I believe so. It was a
Oh,
good
good.
time was had by all. Put it that way.
All right. So you definitely hit the contentment level.
Oh,
Now
I'd like to think so. I haven't been informed otherwise yet, so
did you hit the happy level? The
pretty sure we did.
excruciatingly pleased level.
It all
The
sounds
I
more
love
painful
you
as you go,
so
Frank.
much. I love you so much. Thank you, honey. And yeah, so you've been married for a while. You've been dating for even longer, so you don't have to worry about that going too far in the first birthday, right? You've got a few of them behind you, right? So there's no worry to impress, and I
Thank
don't mean that
goodness.
in a bad way. I mean seriously. When it comes to dating, you see comedies or you can create a comedy over the subject of a person when they start dating someone and what their first present is, I mean, Seinfeld's made an incredible comedy about it, and other comedies as well, where you don't want to start too high, you got to start low, really low.
It's a
I
question of
tried
finding
not
the
at
right
all.
balance.
I tried not at all. I don't think that worked though.
Oh goodness.
That's not a good idea. Not at all. Okay. Speaking of not at all, um, the Jays. I don't know. Have they forgotten to pad the wallets of the officials or something? Have they done something inordinate, like unusual, that raised the ire of the umpire?
I'm not sure if they did or not, but they did get one of the worst called games in MLB history the other night, and with
Not
a
by their standard, and not by their standard, by an unbiased standard
yeah.
of yeah.
Now, it was something like 84% would correct when it came to strikes within the strike zone itself. There were, in addition, I believe, 12 called strikes that were clearly outside the strike zone that
eight
got
inches.
called. Yeah, outside the plate. One of the umpire's excuses for not calling a strike and calling a ball on Hunjin Ryu on another game was that it curved in over the plate after crossing the front of it. So while the catcher caught it and it looked like he caught it in the right spot, apparently it made its way around the outside of the strike zone before curving in. That's the story, and they're sticking to it. So
Here's what I have to say on Ryu's behalf. Really? I'm not having a hard enough time. My forearm's killing me, and you're doing this to me. I mean, he probably hurt his forearm slamming his side with his arm. Out of disgust. Yeah, no, that's pretty bad. And the officiating is going to get, I think, even more tenuous because of gambling and because there's going to be furor raised. And I don't mean the guy from the World War II. There's going to be a lot of really bad stuff happening because stuff like this, gamblers tend to be very serious watchers of sports. And now that in Canada they can bet on anything.
no, the other thing to bear in mind though is currently the Jays are sitting at 6-4 with a 600 winning percentage. The good news is they haven't lost any series. They
No,
haven't
and that's all
swept
they
any.
want to do. That
They haven't
that's all
swept
they
any,
want to
but they
do.
haven't lost any. So that's the important part right there.
Well, every time they lose a series, they have to sweep a series. Every time they get swept, they got to sweep two series. It's my simple workup art in math. Anyway,
I mean,
but they've
figuring out
done
games behind is tough enough as it is. Who needs to make it
absolutely.
tougher, right?
Yeah, no, really. The Jays are playing against the A's, one of the teams that they beat in the playoffs to go on to win the World Series. Because I always remember the Jays and A's. That sounds cool. We saw the graphic; it was really neat, and it was Sesame Street that introduced the game. It's the Jays versus the A's, if you remember. Um, So the Athletics come into town. They're a Billy Ball team. They're a team that doesn't spend a lot of money. They traded a guy to Toronto who was going to earn a lot of money, and they took back a couple of young guys, including a pitcher that they hope will work out real well. The Jays are making a serious move. At least it appears also that the experts are giving them, they were number two when the season started. I haven't looked at where they are now, but the point is they're in the conversation when it comes to the World Series. What do you think of the young players, Aaron, and how they've been developing?
Well, I mean, they've been taking every single opportunity that they can, especially with the brand new facility down in Dunedin, to try to get the younger players on the right course when it comes to proper physical training, when comes to taking care of all of their needs, everything from dietitians on site to a 40,000 square foot weight room to an in house barber for them when they're down in Dunedin. So it's good to see. Manoa's been true to form.
He's been
Jordan
amazing.
Romano as a closer has been absolutely
Six
fantastic.
saves in a row, most ever in Blue Jay history.
Yep. Guriel has been consistent in hitting. Vladdy's hitting over 330. It's all of it right now is they're off to their best start in 4 years. The last time they did that was they won 6 of their first 10 back in 2018. So it's a question of finding the right combination, the right order, and then maintaining consistency. And so far, they appear to be doing that.
Yeah. Well, enough of the lighter side. On the sad side, and the prayful side, Buck Martinez has been diagnosed with cancer. He's going to be going for treatment. He hopes to be back by July for the pennant race. Um, Always liked him. They talked about his positivity. I think it's a lack of negativity that this guy is someone you want to have around, and I've always been. Well, he is the Toronto Blue Jays. Before he was on TV, he was on the radio, and he's a real talent who's been loyal. This is the other thing I haven't heard people say yet, and they should be saying this too. He stuck with the Blue Jays when he had plenty of opportunity to work for Major League Baseball, the national broadcast, which he did. And imagine this, he's the play-by-play guy in national broadcasts in the US, and he does the color. He takes a step back to be the color on the Blue Jay broadcast. That is love and dedication, and I know we all know that, and everybody knows how much he loves being, involved with the Blue Jays, and I wish the best for him, and I know you do too.
Of course. And it hasn't always been smooth for him either. I mean, he did
No,
play 5 years for the Jays between 81 and
and he
86.
coached,
And,
and
and
he
then he was the
coached.
manager in 2001, but got fired after compiling a 101 for 15 record. But you know what? After he stepped behind the microphone in 87 as a color commentator for the Jays on TSN, it's been. It's been incredible to just listen to him. He has that ability to weave stories in along with consistent commentary that keep you updated on what's going on in the game, while at the same time entertaining you between pitches without missing a beat.
And a beautiful voice to wrap it all up,
Absolutely fantastic.
right? TFC Pozuelo scores, breaks a tie, and oh my goodness, look at TFC. They're 3-2, and they beat the best team in MLS.
Yeah, this was a fantastic night for them. They've actually won their third in a row now at home, sitting at 3-2-2, and they've extended their unbeaten run to 4 games now. Philadelphia had actually just come off winning their franchise record fifth straight. Um,
Oops.
Now, it wasn't all smooth sailing. Carranza opened the scoring for Philly in the 34th minute, and Jimenez answered for Toronto in the 39th, going into halftime. And it was shortly afterwards that Pozuelo broke the tie. So, congratulations to them.
Here we go with officiating again. The Raptors,
Mm.
some questionable calls. I don't know, what is it? Is it Toronto? Toronto, they're deep sixing. Is it deep six? We're going to change the name of this location.
Yeah, at this rate, with the way that the referees are doing everything, we're getting 86th faster than you can say
Yeah,
it.
you're right about that. Good one, exactly. No, it's been, I hope this isn't Homer talk. We talked about how Major League Baseball and the statistics people verified the complaint the Blue Jays had for one of the worst cases of calling balls and strikes. And here, um, three players get injured by one player, and there's not a as the old guy in radio used to say, not even a Spuckian eyebrow raised.
No. First of all, Kem Birch took an elbow from Joel Embiid.
Right?
Thaddeus Young got his thumb sprained, and rookie Scotty Barnes injured his left ankle after Embiid stepped on him. So, this is one player who at 6'9", 7 foot, and 280 pounds is just running roughshod over a smaller team. The Raptors have a short enough bench as it is already that coming up with a way to counter Embiid's physicality is going to become priority
They
number
don't
one.
have a physical player of that to counteract that kind of play, and that seems to be a weakness with the Jays. I mean, they've got great players. It's not about not having great players, but it is literally it's hockey on the court.
At this point, yeah, I mean, it seems like the referees seem to have put their whistles away because, after all, it is the playoffs. So,
Well,
yeah,
Nick Nurse said it as best as it can be said. Uh, we want calls when we do good defense. We don't want to be punished for good defense. So that's something that they're hoping for in the next game, and it's going to be interesting. Talking about the Have-Nots, well, the Have-Nots do have a goaltender. His name's Carey Price, and he went in goal. Unfortunately, it didn't lead to a victory, but it was great to see him back in there.
it was absolutely fantastic to see him in net. Unfortunately, they came out on the wrong end of a 3-0 score. It's difficult when you come back as a $10.5 million goalie to make 17 saves on 20 shots for an .850 save percentage. Now, granted, the Habs defense didn't really help them out either. There were quite a few noticeable odd man rushes. Sorokin on the other side of the coin had 44 saves for New York. He put on an absolute clinic.
My goodness, until he came to Toronto.
Yeah, well,
the clinic ended.
Yeah, well, Montreal's lost now 7 of their last 9 games, so that's a bad sign for them. I mean, I'm glad Price is back. I hope for his sake that the Habs play a little bit better coming down the stretch, mainly because I just don't want them to get a chance at the first overall draft pick.
It doesn't matter. We'll see. If it happens, it happens. They're too close to being able to get it. The odds are very good, even if they slip. Well, it depends. Do you call it slipping if they play better, or anyway? If they do, if they don't get the first overall pick, it'll be a disappointment. It's just amazing that this team went to the Stanley Cup final last year, and their goaltender that took them there, an 880 save percentage. Sticking with the Islanders, do you think in any way whatsoever, speaking of sticking it, that you don't think that, no, 91 wasn't really happy about the fact that A, they swept the Islanders this year, B, they drove the last nail in the coffin into the team and eliminated them from the playoffs. This is an Islander team that's gone to the semifinal 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those situations where Islanders fans saying we don't need you are being confronted by a lot of evidence that says very much that they do.
Please come back.
It is what it is. But Nylander and Marner each scored as the Leafs took out the Islanders without Austin Matthews, I might add, who is listed as day-to-day. It's interesting to see, especially because the Leafs hit a record for franchise wins and points in a season.
Yeah, word is that that number 91 went to the Islanders bench and said, "Could you hold my beer, please? Thanks." Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. The Senators lose to the Leafs as well, and they've got a leader in Giordano. I mean, they've got a lot of players on their team that were captains on other teams, and they have a tendency of drafting captains. The significance of that, I don't think, can be lost on anybody's mind. And is that something that eventually we'll see with the Leafs, with Giordano, that we've seen at key moments? He's made key plays. In fact, he scored the overtime goal that beat the Senators. And they're a team that has handled the Leafs like the Buffalo Sabres.
At this point, I mean, with the amount of history that Toronto has and the cachet that comes along with being able to say, I played for the Leafs and I was born in Toronto, there's a certain amount of that's going to happen. the Leafs have always had issues with the Senators. The Senators have always had beef with the Leafs. It's good to see them elevate their play for games like that. But yeah, it's at this point, it's not a question of when Matthews takes over as captain. Sorry, it's not a question of how; it's a question of when.
or
I
where.
wouldn't actually be surprised if in the next couple of years, if the Leafs do manage to re-sign Matthews, part of his contract will be getting the captaincy.
I don't think it'll be part of the contract, but in an essence, I agree with you. Not exactly in that way. What I do think may or may not happen. I mean, Tavares is getting up there in age. Do you think maybe the possibility that if God willing, the Leafs win a Stanley Cup, that he decides to hang it up that next year,
It's
and that would open the
certainly
door for Matthews.
something that you want to do is go out on top. If that becomes the capper to Tavares's career and to Giordano's career and frees up some cap space by him retiring, hey, cool. But I have a feeling if the Leafs do manage to go all the way and God willing win, you may see graceful exits from some of the elder statesmen on the team.
But one of the problems that'll be clearly evident is that if he keeps scoring near a point a game, he won't
Yeah,
retire, right?
he may not want to.
Well, the Leafs may not want him to. Let's be clear. As much as people want, like, we can point at the fact that there's a lot of money out there in contracts. But when you break it down to the players and how they play, he's a leader. He's a guy who plays an honest game, and he's a guy whom I believe keeps his teammates honest too. And I think you need that on a team. Being a leader in the locker room is fantastic. I think it's great, but it isn't the same as leading on the ice, Aaron.
No, this is true. And
Right?
and while locker room presence is fantastic, you've still got to be able to have a guy that picks up the team by their skate laces and hauls them through the goal.
And besides, people are more visual than that, right? They've got to
Yeah.
see the leadership. We have to feel the leadership, and he does lead, and he's getting a lot more physical in the last few games. He's been a little kind of Boston Bruinish, if you notice. Face washing, late hit. When he gets pushed out of the crease and he swats a player. I really like that look. That's all I've been looking for from the Leafs. Is I've been looking for that because at the end of the day, the tough guys are going to be tough guys, Aaron. But if you're not tough, their guys who aren't tough are going to be tough. So, it's not a question of competing with the Wilsons out there, because, that's not going to really happen. Although in yesterday's game, number 24 kind of lost the fight, but he also calmed down the opposition.
In that fight, if you want to call it that, against Johnston, I was
Yes.
hoping for a round two. I think it was about 3 punches in total and one sort of oops, I've already started to throw a punch while you're falling punch that kind of hit Simmons when he was already down. The
Yeah.
linesmen were very quick in on that, but I think they didn't want it to escalate like games had in the past. I think they're becoming more aware of the fact that people will and are more willing to complain, and coaches are more willing to eat the $25,000 fine that the NHL hands out for that sort of
Absolutely.
thing. So,
Well, the Jets lose another game. They lose to uh, the team that might be playing the Leafs. It's not looking good for the Jets. Just another nail in the coffin. It's too bad. I really love the Jets.
it's been difficult. I mean, the Panthers have now won 9 straight. They're keeping the Jets from getting into the wild card race, and a couple nights before that, Nikita Kucherov and Victor Hedman helped the Lightning ground the Jets 7-4. So it's difficult, man. They're in a really tough position right now. Whether it's untimely injuries, illnesses, or a sudden disappearance of scoring, it's just been very difficult for them to get any sort of consistent string together at all.
Yeah, there was an ow coming from the ice. The Coyotes were, oh boy, they were in pain. 9-1. Calgary was upset. They have not been playing well, and it's like they decided, okay, now we're pissed.
Well, and the thing is, they kind of clinched the playoff spot because of the Oilers.
Mhm.
If the Oilers hadn't have beaten the Golden Knights 4-0, then Calgary wouldn't have been able to clinch the spot that they did. So as soon as they did that, they absolutely beat the brakes off the Arizona Coyotes
Oh boy,
9-1.
did they
Just
ever.
wow.
You know who's been playing well is Mike Smith. We always can talk about that down the middle pass to McJesus, um, but they win again.
Yeah, and Mike Smith made 39 saves and a 4-0 shutout. So, I mean, here's a guy who's in his fifth decade, and he's still playing at an NHL level. He's actually the seventh goalie 40 and older with back-to-back shutouts in NHL history. He made 30 saves on Thursday night in a 4-0 victory over Nashville. So
Leafs win their 50th, get the most points they've ever had. Good for them.
excellent, yeah. I mean, after Sheldon Keefe getting to 100 wins in 163 games, and topping the record that was set by Mike Babcock a few years back with 105 points, this bodes well for them.
Lawyer steals money, disappears. Trucker loses day in court.
So this is an unfortunate situation. First, his own lawyer lied and fabricated documents. And then the Law Society insurer refused to compensate him because that same lawyer didn't follow their rules. Now, in the first place, Dale Rendero was trying to sue his former employer because he refused to get vaccinated. So he took his case to court. He missed the 2-year window to file his wrongful dismissal lawsuit because his lawyer had lied to him and didn't do the required paperwork. He also took and fabricated documents for a $22,000 settlement he said he'd negotiated with Rendero's former employer. This is Alberta. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. No, just wanted to ask. So, look out for lawyers in Alberta. Coachella 2022. A nice little combination.
Oh, definitely. You had 68-year-old Danny Elfman and 20-year-old Billie Eilish both performing on the same day. So that was kind of neat. Both the youngest and oldest performers. So
Alberta pair sue police for $1.5 million over a malicious drug raid that found nothing.
Yeah. So this is a case where the police busted into this couple's place, fired tear gas, used a vehicle to break through their windows, and unfortunately didn't find anything, and have been so reluctant to admit that they'd screwed up that the couple have PTSD, trust issues, and are not willing to believe anything the police have to say.
They should be compensated. That's just not right. They weren't guilty of anything. In fact, they weren't even charged with anything, Aaron. And They have to, basically their place got tossed in the worst possible way. Ottawa asks East Tense man to repay $2,000 in CERB payment. He says he never received, Aaron.
Yeah, he got a notice of debt from Employment and Social Development Canada saying that he'd have to pay the money back. Joel White is the guy's name. He is one of many Nova Scotians temporarily forced from work. He opened a CERB complaint online, but never completed it. And he recently opened his mail and said, "Oh, wait a minute, $2,000. What? Huh? I never finished my complaint. My request. How did I get money?"
No smoke in the smokehouse, Aaron. How does that cause a problem?
Well, the Magdalene Islands, there's a ban on herring fisheries there. So as a result, they're not able to smoke herring. So no smoke in the smokehouse. You can't do your business.
Le Pen running for the big job in France. She's under investigation, fraud, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Mediapart says that they're actually looking at her party national rally and what they're trying to do to reduce EU's powers in France. The issue that they're running into is apparently there were certain reports that found that Le Pen and other people defrauded the European Parliament of $617,000.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for today, Aaron. Thank you so much, sir.
Not a problem, Frank. Thank you.
Aaron William Freeland. I'm Candid Frank Stanisci. Thank you for watching Candid Frank Live. Aaron Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish World Radio Network. For Candid Frank Live, other news, entertainment, and sports programming we offer, please check out SpanglishWorld.ca. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Thank you for watching, everybody. Ciao for now.